Um, I just want to thank the Lord for His goodness towards 2015, throughout 2015. First of all, I want to thank God for giving me a vision. You know, because like in 2015, I was supposed to go to America for my master's program. You know, and I've already had a scholarship. Unfortunately, the school in America asked me to. I was going to resume in September. So, and going by the political dispensation in Nigeria, you know, that year, I think the Spirit of God moved me and said, if we were to wait for that September, at that point, my wife also said, no, it has to be America, we have to go there. She doesn't like the UK and everything, you know. But thank God for His guidance, because at that point, God just showed to me that you have to go to UK, you know. And as against all odds, it was in December that I started my admission process, you know. And if you look at it, it was in that same December that my visa came out, and I resumed in January. So, and, as God will have it, to show that it was actually He that directed my move to come to this to come to UK. After the change in the government, the new president and the new office, the new appointment holder in my office came and they cancelled all scholarship schemes. So it was only us that had already resumed that was now privileged to be part of that scheme, you know. And apart from that, even for people that still remained in the office, the new special advisor terminated everybody's appointment, you know. So if it wasn't for God, I would have lost out in the scholarship. In the office, I would have also lost out in the job, because they considered everybody a PDP family and everything. And I just want to give God the glory for just that. It shows me that as He has continued to direct my steps, you know, then also for bringing us into this house. It was even by divine intervention we came to this place. Because I was telling my wife, because of the busy schedules in the UK, if we had gone to a bigger church, with the way schedules are, one would have even been forced to. But since it's a small house, you know, you can't escape it, you know. So because while coming here, we just went through, to show that God actually directed our steps. While looking for a Redeemed Christian Church of God, the first, when we clicked on Google, it was this place God directed us to, you know. And it's been a wonderful experience, even from the congregation as a family, guidance of the pastor and everything, the people we know and everything, you know. It has made one come closer to God. And secondly, in 2015, me and my family, there was no illness. Not once did we go to the hospital, even though we have insurance. We've not even utilized any of our free GP experience in this country. We thank God. We give them all their free health. Let them give it, you know, God. And we pray that this year we also continue to do marvelous things for us. Thank you.
I just bless God for 2015. It was a year of, like my brother said, busy, very busy schedules. Back and forth. Just bless God for safety. We traveled a few times in 2015. And the Lord saw us there and He brought us back safely. Also thank God for safety concerning our everyday move. I travel from Eastbourne to Brighton every day. Back and forth, and most of the time I'm not in the office, I'm back on the road again. So I thank God for safety, because I've seen so many crashes happen in front of me that have been fatal, so I just thank God. Thank God for my children. So That is part of
everybody. No, that's fine.
Thank God for my children. My son Daniel, 14 now. He doesn't let me forget it. The Lord blessed him. He's a blessing to the family. He's a blessing to this generation, I believe. He started his bridesmaids studies last year. I thank God for warmth as well, because I have to sit in the car park for 6, 7, 8 hours waiting for him to finish his university thing at the age of 14. So I bless God for his studies, his academics. I bless God for my other girls, my 2 girls. It's not that one, just the 2 of them. I bless God for my girls. Shekinah, she's going to be 4 next year. She started this year. She's going to be 4 this year in May. I had to get that one quickly before I get told off again. She's going to be 4 in May. She's been to nursery school all this while, and she's been doing very good. Her reports are good. By his grace, she'll be starting proper school this year in September. Also bless God for Batia. She has been doing very, very well in school. Just thank God for everything. Thank God for my business. Thank God for the ideas that God has given me. Started off in Brighton and Hove. It was the first in the country. I piloted it. It's now been ongoing. It's almost heading to about 2 years now. Being the first in the country. So other people are now starting to steal from the ideas I had concerning the job. They've also brought in other things. So I just bless God that it's been a wonderful year.
Amen.
And we are here today and we're present. Everybody in my family is accounted for. We just bless God.
Thank God for 2015. God has been faithful to us. He has really helped us, and He has made a way where there seems to be no way. And His grace has been sufficient for us.
Amen.
God has really helped me a lot. And I went through a period of time whereby I was working a lot. Then I had like a whole year of just not working too much at all. And I learned a lot of things that time. And God has been able to help me, to understand it. And when it was time for me again, for Him to increase me, He made a way whereby it's not too stressful. And it's not a struggle. I was able to cope with it, and with my family, I was able to look after my children. Also, I just want to thank God for my husband's job. It's a long story, but it has to be God. Yeah, it has to be God. For what God has done is, it's a miracle for that to still continue up until this year. But we hold on to Him, and we know that He will do greater things this year. And we thank God for Grace 7 Chapel. We've been a member almost 7 months now, and God has been faithful. Amen.
I'd like to thank God for last year as well. Many things were done for me and my family. We were able to go to many places safely. I also like to thank God for the will to wake up in the morning. I understood something last year. One of my art teachers passed away during the sleep, and she was not very old, and made me understand that it's not everybody that can wake up in the morning and be able to fulfill their day. So I'd like to thank God for that as well, and for my family and church. I would also like to thank God for my academics. I'll be starting my proper GCSEs this year. And there's also Bright Med on the side, which was a very good thing in my life that I think is all thanks to God. So I can say thank you to Jesus.
I just want to thank God for last year, because going into uni, originally I didn't plan to come Brighton, and I didn't plan to do the course that I wanted to do. I didn't have no background knowledge about the course that I'm doing now, so it made me nervous. And I just want to thank God for helping me. I did really well last year. I got a T1, I was 1 mark off the first. It really upset me, but just the fact that I did well amongst people that probably knew more about the course than myself. I want to thank God for the good health He gave to me, especially my family as well, and my mom. There was a time that she thought that the doctor said that they saw traces of things to do with breast cancer, but thank God that it wasn't breast cancer, it was just tissues. I want to thank God for my dad and my siblings.
I want to thank God for my second year. Started kind of okay. I want to pray that this year will be better and my exams will go very well. Thank God for my mom too, my dad.
I decided to do my master's
earlier last year, and it started like a joke. But I thank God I was able to come to the school I wanted to come to, and it has been going great. And I thank God for finding this church. It has been like a second family. Like, honestly, it feels like I'm still back at home and everything.
Well, thank God. I really thank God for 2015. First of all, it started in January with Emmanuel being 1. And, you know, for those who have kids, once they're 1, you know, you start counting years, not months, well, officially. And that's helped us see him in a different way, you know, as now a toddler, not just a baby and all of that. So I thank God that, you know, throughout the year, we didn't have any cause to cry over him, even though there were a lot of opportunities to do that. There was a particular night where, I think that was the night he was running a very high temperature. We eventually ended up in the A&E because we live about 5 minutes away from the hospital, so we didn't bother calling an ambulance. And, you know, we just thank God because it was nothing eventually, probably an infection or something. You know, there were other instances where the enemy could have struck, or, you know, where they almost diagnosed him as having, what's it called now? Asthma. You know, they gave him a pump. That really scared us because we thought, okay, as soon as the dose is finished, that pump is going into hiding or being thrown away. But God just gave us the assurance in time, you know. And the fact that his name is Emmanuel, usually we just go, okay, it's yours. It's not ours to worry about, you know. Even in our personal lives, I thank God because it's not a joke that we travel from Kent to Brighton every weekend. God has seen us through, and doing that for a whole year, at least, you know, throughout 2015, we didn't have a cause to turn back, or we didn't have a cause to call everybody to say church has been cancelled because somebody's very ill or someone had an accident. So I really thank God for that. I don't take that lightly because I'm not sure if it was on the Brighton road, but remember the aircraft that crashed into the road, you know. It could have been anything. I mean, there are 2 airports. There's an airport, at least Gatwick. We see planes every time we drive. In fact, there was a particular day we saw it so low and, you know, it looked like it was going to land on the road. But, you know, God saw us through. God saw us through 2015. Ideas for business came in 2015 than any other year. Even personally, ideas for books. You know, I just saw myself always writing a new title. And the way the ideas come, I don't stop. You know, I just practically write everything the chapter would have and then go back to start fleshing it out. And God, every time I go, oh, but God, I've not finished that other book. He goes, you better start writing, you know. So I really thank God because that year, 2015 was a very good year. Although towards the end, you know, it's a celebration of life, but I lost a granny that, you know, I didn't get a chance to say bye to, and that, you know, really affected me in a very different way. But all in all, I thank God for life. I thank God that through it all, we made it alive, we made it well, we made it healthy, and we're still here, and we have other promises for 2016 that I believe we're going to hold on to. Praise the Lord.
So 2015 started very eventful for my family and I. It was a year of big decisions, as he has possibly said most of it. It came where he had to move to another country, and I as a person had decisions to make as well, because I had a life, I had a business, I had a job, and I had to drop all of that and move with my husband and, you know, and support him. And it was really tough on me because at that point in my business I was also facing challenges, because I had a salon where rent was going up on a quarterly basis. Stylists were messing me up here and there, left, right and center. There was a time we ended up in police station even for one that wanted to run away with my money, and everything was just really topsy-turvy for me at that point. And it was a big decision for me to pack up and say, okay, I'm leaving this, I'm leaving that, I'm moving with my husband, not knowing what the future held for me as a person, as a human being, professionally, career-wise, and all of that. And finally made that move. He moved before me. He came in January. I was still back there for another 5 months. And it was like the walls were crashing down on me. I remember always calling him on the phone crying. It's either the fuel scarcity, I'm queuing at the filling station, and one man is shouting at me that, is it my fault you don't have husband to buy fuel for you, and things like that. It was at a point, it was really, really frustrating. It was like the devil was trying to purposely frustrate me, as in me on my own as a person. And I just thank God, because when I finally moved here and joined my husband, even though the future was looking bleak, somehow, some way, God stepped in and just made everything all right. I got a job faster than anybody I know has ever been able to, give testimony for, and it was just God really that just made me. It looked really bleak. It looked like I didn't have a future, and within such a short period of time, everything just fell into place, and I just give God the glory, because it was just Him. Like He said, I didn't even want to come to this country. I preferred the US. But somehow God brought us here and just showed us that it is Him that makes we make plans. They say you make plans, but God just smiles and looks at you. He has other plans for you. So at the end of the day, I didn't really want to come here, but God brought us here, and He made sure everything was sorted for us. He showed us why He brought us here, more or less. And I just give God the glory for that. And for my family as well. In Nigeria, my husband was not available because of his job. He was very, very not available because he was very busy. He's still very busy here, but mainly because of the way this country is, my family is just much more close-knit. We are more in touch with our emotions, both with God and with ourselves, and everything is just, yeah, God has been good.